Hello, thank you very much for tuning into this week's Pick a Read. For the main tarot part, I'm going to use Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. And for the supportive oracle cards, the Psychic Tarot for the Heart Oracle deck by John Holland. Alright, let's move those out of the way. So, we're going to do 5 piles. See if I can get these in frame the best I can here. Okay. And here's another one, and here's... Okay, now we're just going to... Okay. Move that out of the way. Okay, I think we're good with those. We're going to put these messages on there, whichever goes where, and we're going to... I almost want to keep this together. You know what? I think I will. I'm going to put that with that. No, I want you here. I want there, and I want that. Alright, so... line these up. Did not expect to put 2 on 1 there, but I felt like it should stay, so we'll see how this turns out. So we're going to have one pile that has no message on it. We'll do this first with the double message, which is the rose quartz. Second one will be the citrine with the white. The third will be the rainbow hematite. The fourth will be the fluorite. And the fifth will be the Lapis Lazuli, which many people enjoy that one, so that works good. Alright, so the first one, rose quartz, centered on love, increasing love, empowering through love. Even though it's pink, it does seem to connect with the heart chakra, which is green. Which the two of those are very complementing. I see green as healing. Not everybody does, but that's fine. I really do see it as healing. So to me, love and healing go hand in hand. I'm not even sure what those say. Alright. Now, before I go too far, this is why do I feel like something is wrong? Which I should have said in the beginning, but the title should already be up. Why do I feel like something is wrong? Okay, so this is going to be where you are and where you're heading if things stay the same. So I feel like this is what they're saying with these two cards. The Five of Coins is saying feeling like you don't have enough. That's where you seem to be starting. Something here, some spot where you don't feel like you have quite enough. Part of this makes me feel like in this card you're actually doing quite well. But there's just something you're centering on, like I have this, I have that, I have the other thing, but the one thing I want the most is, for example, a love interest, more money, retirement, something. There's one thing that you're centering on that's saying, if I had just this one thing, this would be great. So that's where I feel like this is starting. There's one thing that's just irking you, that's just egging at you. And the Nine of Wands is saying where you're currently headed is feeling like, you know, you wasted all this time worrying about something, looking back and realizing you had more than you were enjoying. I need more inspiration. That's in the current one. The second one is call it and move on. Okay, so before we get into the advice cards, which are going to be these, what I'm getting, the way this is currently going, it's not as bad as it feels, but you're centering on what you don't have. It's like this person just needs to walk in this door. There's so much warmth and joy inside here. They just have to go in and claim it. It may not be exactly what they want, but this could distract them from centering on what they don't want. And the inspiration is lacking. I just feel like the inspiration is just feeling like that one thing is just holding you down. Going into the second part, if you don't do anything but just kind of ride through without changing anything, they're saying you're going to have this moment where you're going to regret, because you're going to look back and be like, what I could have done instead of what I did. Just call it for what it is and move on. Take a quick moment, say, next time this happens, instead of sitting there and wondering and worrying about what I don't have, I'm just going to get up and walk in that door and just make myself a sandwich. Or maybe I'm going to watch some TV, or maybe I'm going to call a friend. Whatever you need to do, but don't dwell on it. Give it 2 seconds thought. This is what I'll do next time. File it away and move on. They're saying just, if you do end up staying in the same line, just call it for what it is and move on. Now here's to make this better. Rest and so they're saying you do need this moment to rest. This is like a recuperation moment. It's a good thing. You're building your strength. Realize that this is a good strengthening moment. They're saying to change your perception of the situation. Rest and recuperation. Is that recuperation? What does that say? Rest and reconsider. I'm feeling recuperation. But still, rest and reconsider. This moment where you have this one thing you're lacking and you're feeling like if I just had that, this moment is for you just to reset and realize where you're going and to just adjust your course to get what you want. Not to sit there and worry or just stagnate on what you don't have, but to assess what do I want and just move your perception and your direction just slightly, and you'll get going in the right direction. If you feel like something is wrong and you're dwelling, they're saying all you need to do is decide what would you rather have, even if you're looking at it saying that's not doable or it would be years out, whatever. Just still realign yourself and just head towards it as if it's going to be yours. That's all it takes. Because I feel like there's a lot of you who would say, well, what I really want I can't have. So if it's a love interest, I would say, because a lot of times I hear this when people are centered on one person, try to take away that connection from that person in the sense of like, don't get your love and your joy and love caught up in one person. Broaden the thought. And just imagine yourself getting it. Just feeling that contentment. You don't have to over-define it. Because the moment here is just to say they want you to see what you want that you're not heading towards. Because if you want something, all you have to do is head towards it, they'll help you get it. The inspiration is lacking. I get that right here too. That makes sense, especially with the channeled message there. But they're saying, don't wait for the inspiration to come in. You're kind of having a lull moment. That's okay. Just decide what you want that you don't have and just start heading towards it. Just see yourself going towards it. Just believe it'll be there in the future and just keep going. Don't stagnate and dwell on it. That's the big thing. Moving on. Because I feel like what you're going to do is you're still going to come into this moment in the future where you're looking back and you're just like, I wasted time. They're saying, because it looks like there's going to be a portion of this either way. They're saying, call it for what it is. If there's something you'd rather have done, just say, this is what I'm going to do next time, and just put it to bed and move on. They're saying, don't dwell on it. Because what they're saying is there's lack here. There's lack of something you really want. You have a lot of other things around you, but it's that lack of the one thing you're centering on, and that's what you're feeling like something is wrong. It's just something's not in place that you want, is what they're saying. And it's not bad or good that that's there or that's not there. They're just saying dwelling on it is what's making you feel this way. Like having that open spot, just feeling like, something's empty. There should be something there. This is a good time for you just to decide what you really want. So if it's something financial, if it's more people around you, if you'd like to be more active, you know what I mean? Maybe the job you have is just not serving you. It's just, I've had this happen a couple times. It's a job that the job isn't bad, but you just don't get excited about going to it. You're questioning, do I want to risk going on to something else and end up possibly being unhappy? Or do I want to just stay where I am and just kind of sulk and sit where I am and just be unhappy but still feel content somewhat? This is just a soundboard moment. Just a moment for you to see what's going on so that you can have a moment to just redirect. This feels inevitable. It really does. And I get that the information is correct. I'm just trying to see if there's something else they want to say with it. It's basically saying whatever you're dwelling on, once you realize you're doing it, just call it and move on from it. Keep yourself active. I'm feeling that's a big thing here. Moving, literally moving. Move on, call it for what it is, and just let it go. Move on. I can't believe that popped up the way it is. So they're just saying when you see what you're doing, don't fret about like, oh my God, I've wasted a week, or maybe I've wasted a month, or maybe you've wasted longer than that. Call it for what it is. Just, okay, I wasted that time. Okay, moving on. Keep moving. No use sinking more time into it, wasting more time into it, stepping up and moving on. Just let it go for now. Put out there what you want, let go. It'll come back around when it can. Are these in frame? Yeah, I think they are. I feel like it's because the rose quartz popped out. I feel like a lot of you, this has a lot to do with love too. It's just you're not finding what you want. And it's feeling kind of hopeless. They're saying it's not hopeless. Just let go. Don't dwell on it. It'll come back when it's time. Let it go. Just keep yourself moving. Keep yourself busy. Do whatever it takes. If it's business stuff that keeps your mind off of it, if it's hobbies, if it's watching TV, if it's cooking, whatever it is, just keep yourself busy, keep your mind busy. It won't matter. You can move right from it. All right, I think this one is good. It was an interesting one. The double there. I feel like we started out with the hardest one. All right, now the second one, we're going to do the citrine, which is, I should look this up again, but I know I've looked it up before. I want to say this is God center, the sense of like self-loyalty. In other words, if you can't be loyal to yourself, how can you be loyal to anybody else? I think a lot of times you hear people saying, like, if you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. But the same is true of loyalty. If you can't be loyal to yourself, how can you be loyal to anyone else? If you don't want something or you don't like something, and you're just, nodding your head and telling people, that's okay, no, I do like that, when you really don't, that's not being loyal to yourself. You know what I mean? Honoring your true feelings, honoring your true thoughts. So let's see where this is going. And this is, why do I feel like something is wrong? All right, so we got look closer. I don't know why we're doing it this way, but here we go. Are we in frame? Move that down like that. There we go. All right, so why do I feel like something is wrong? So I feel like we need to slow it down already. Because the Seven of Wands, like in this deck, because of the fire, it makes me wonder if it's more of a conflict card, but it's not. It's like really fighting, really putting a lot of effort into something. But it's one of those things where I feel like it's kind of like constantly trying to work at something, and it's surviving, but it's not really improving. That's my thought with this. Then you got seek the truth and control. And I feel like this might be, why do I feel something is wrong? If you chose this one, I feel like you're putting in a lot of effort. And you're making some movement forward, but it's almost like one of those things where, for example, if you're taking water out of a basin, and every time you take 2 cups out, it's like 3 cups have been added, and you're like, where's this water coming from? It's like every step ahead, you seem to end up a step behind. Every 2 steps forward, you go 3 steps back, and you're just like, how does this keep happening? I don't understand this. So they got this here, like you're working at it, you're trying, you got control here. I'm feeling what they're first saying here is why something is wrong is because this is a situation that you are not meant to control. And I feel like the situation, it's more about redirecting your thoughts instead of trying to control or move the situation to your benefit or to make it better. Connect with the situation in a different way. Try to understand what's making the situation go forward. What's making the situation persist. Why does this situation keep going on? What has been keeping the situation together? Instead of trying to change the situation, they're saying just step back and try to absorb, why is it working the way it's working? Why does it keep perpetuating? Why has it gone as long as it has? So I feel like this is the first step. Why do I feel like something is wrong? Is because I feel like you're trying to fix something or correct something or improve something at the very least. And you're not getting ahead. You just seem every 2 steps forward, it feels like 3 steps back. They're saying, stop trying to improve it. Observe. Keep doing what you have to do to keep the situation going. Like, use your common sense. This is what I need to do to keep the situation alive. But go more into the observer role. Try to just keep it, don't try to change things. Just try to absorb, why is it doing this? Why is this happening? Why every Tuesday does this happen? You know what I mean? How long has this been going on for? Who are the people involved? Who's doing what situation? And what's the actual situation that I'm perceiving as a problem? And just observing, and how does it all link together? Because I feel like for you, those of you who chose this one, what they're saying with the open up is you're going to see a broader spectrum of influence. Broader spectrum of influence. Well, they got look closer with the open up. I feel like you're going to find out real quickly why it is every time you take 2 steps forward, you end up 3 steps back. Because you have other people working against you, is what I'm getting. And the Tower here is telling me, when you realize the people who are working against you in this situation, the way you're going to realize it is because you're stepping back and you're observing instead of just kind of keep trying to fix it. You're just stepping back and just observing what's actually happening here, and you're realizing, wait a minute, the tower's falling down because I feel like you have to get into the situation and ask these people, like, why are you doing that? Even if they don't realize that's why this is going back 3 steps, even if they don't realize it, you still have to say, why are you doing that? And explaining to them the effect they're having. That's what's going to pull you out of this. This is why something is wrong. For those of you who chose this one, it's the second one, I believe, it's the Citrine. They're basically saying, by trying to keep going forward and just trying to fix something, you're not understanding what the actual problem is or where it's actually breeding or coming from. By stepping back and observing and watching what's really happening, and they're saying, really take a moment. Don't just jump to a conclusion when you think you know what's going on. Really watch it play through so you can see exactly all the nuances that are happening. Because that's where the Tower card's going to hit. Like, oh my God, the situation, like this person and that person are actually working against me. It's up to your personal situation, whether they're trying to or not. You'll know. I don't feel like there'll be any question. You'll know if they're trying to or not. Once you open up and you look closer, things fall apart because you're like, wait a minute. This is why this is repeating. This is why this isn't working. Stepping forward, you have the 6 of Coins and the healing. You will be able to recoup this and actually change how things are going. One of 2 things is going to happen, just to be fair, though. You're either going to find out why these people are doing this, and you might have to let go of what you want to change, or you're going to be able to work with these people and explain to them what you're trying to do and how they're working against it, and you're going to come to a nice agreement where things will finally move forward. It's one of 2 things. Either 1, you're going to have to drop it and you're going to find out why, or 2, you're going to find out how to work with people to get it to finally move forward. It seems like it's going to be a pass-fail situation, to be fair, but I feel like if this, the way you came into this, if it's hitting for the most of you the way it feels to me, it wasn't really succeeding anyway. It was slowly failing. So at this point, it's either going to succeed or completely fail. And that's how you're going to get this. But the heal is telling me, even if it fails in the sense of like this can't go on, you heal because you get to let go of it. You're not going to waste any more time in a situation that's just going to fail anyway. That's for you. That's for those that, you know, you can't get the situation to improve. You worked with other people. You found out why. I feel you're going to step away from it and just let go. And you're going to heal on your own, letting it be. Because, you know, it's enough of this bashing your head in the wall type feel. For the others of you who you can work with the people and it moves forward, it's finally going to move in the right direction. You're finally going to be happy it does. All right, I think we're done with that one. Let's pick these up and go into the next one. Okay, we got the Rainbow Hematite next, which is usually I've been considering. I've been using it as if like reclaiming your own control of yourself. When somebody else has control over you, or you feel like somebody has control over you, this is reclaiming your own power and grounding it out. Because this, sometimes it's been referenced to getting control over others, but I also see it referenced as regaining control of yourself if you feel somebody has taken control from you. So, let's see what we got here. I think we're going to actually have an interesting one here, because it's going to start upside down, but I think we can flip it. This seems to be what's happening, and I feel like what we can do is we can flip these, sort of, some of them. Not all of them. We'll see. Let's see how it goes. So coming into this, you got the Page of Swords reversed, and the 8 of Wands reversed. Stagnation. I don't feel like there's a lot of communication. I feel like there's a lot of thought, but I don't feel like anything is grounded or moving anything forward. The next, actually, I do feel like this comes in 3 pieces, so we're going to do it like this. What's coming in next is the Win or Lose and the King of Swords. it's kind of like the Page of Swords has quickly advanced into the King of Swords, but reversed, there's lack of communication, there's lack of knowledge, there's lack of using that knowledge. Sometimes the King of Swords reversed is saying someone isn't willing to reach out and find out from others. They're just using their own thoughts, what they believe, what they see. They're not reaching out to others and finding out what other people think. That can sometimes, lead people down the wrong road and to their own demise. Win or lose upside down is not really good. I feel like this card upside down means if you win, it's a faulty win. It's not going to really serve you. It's going to fail down the road. Or if you lose, you lost because of poor judgment. So when this card is reversed, it's either you win, but it's a faulty win. It's going to fall apart later. If you lose, you lost because of poor judgment, which the King of Swords upside down would also indicate that. Now this is just the first time through, because we're going to go through this a second time with how things could change. The way they're currently going, you got lead reversed and you got challenging times. Now, the challenging times reversed is very interesting because they're saying the way it's going currently, you're not going to really like it, but you're not going to be overly invested in it because you're not going to take the lead here. It may just pass. Whatever here is bothering you, they're saying if you decide to let it keep going the way it's going, by not taking the lead, you're not claiming your power back, is what they're saying. You're stuck. It's almost like you're a slave to the situation, and you're accepting that. Things aren't going to get any worse for you, but they're not going to change. That feeling like something is wrong will not go away. You won't feel fulfilled. So however you feel now about the situation, it'll be just the same. So there's not a lot going on here. Nothing's really going your way, in my opinion. Even if it's a win, it's a faulty win and it's going to fail. If you lose, it's due to lack of, choice. It's due to bad choices, I should say. You won't reclaim your power, so you won't have any problems. There won't be any challenging times, but you won't be any happier than you've been. That's what I'm getting from this reverse. Now, we can turn this around. We can. Now, I feel like they're all going to turn, but we're going to slowly explain them. If you want this to go better, for a lot of you, this is going to be in the past. So turning this in the past is realizing I don't feel like this is going to... I don't feel like this is going to, what do you call it? Turn around. This one's not going to turn around. The page, though, is looking back at what you had, what you've gone through, realizing something didn't move forward, but understanding like lack of communication, lack of searching out an answer may be the reason why. You have to turn the page up, right side up. For you to do that, that's where you have to start investigating. The page can start conversations, but the page doesn't usually direct those conversations. It's going towards the people with the answers, asking them questions and letting them take over the conversation and garnering the information from them that they release through the conversation. The page is more of an absorber, but it's kind of like the Page of Swords if he wants to learn how to, he or she or they, whoever they may be. If that person wants to learn how to write an essay, or let's make it even better, they want to write a resume, and they want to know how you do it, what should go on that resume, where should things be placed, how much information do you put there, do you put references on it, or do you put or do you supply them when somebody asks for them? Things like that. The type of job history. Does the job history stay the same for every job you go for, or does it change the way you describe it based on what job you're going for? For example, if you're going for a food service job and you've worked at a theme park, you would then put, I would like to be a part of this food service situation. I was at a theme park, and you would probably direct it about how you deal with other people. But if you're going to go towards a job, more of a corporate business setting, maybe a desk job, you might say that you have a lot of history with a theme park, multitasking and doing a lot of things at once and making sure nothing falls through the cracks. But this is the point of the page. The page is like, how do I do it? Tell me how to do it. You have the answers. I've seen you do it. Or in the page in this situation is like going towards someone else and saying, you know what? The situation didn't go anywhere. Nothing happened. It just stagnated. Why do you think it stagnated? Going towards somebody who knows something or knows more than you, or you feel could know more than you, and saying, the situation didn't go anywhere. Everything just seems to go the same. Why do you think it stayed the same? That's the page. Searching out someone else who has information or could give another perspective to help move you forward. Because it's starting that conversation. The King of Swords would not be you, is what I'm getting. But someone else might help you turn that win-lose card up. You may have missed your first time around. It stagnated, nothing happened. But somebody else is saying, hey, now that you're talking about, there are possibilities here. And if you're asking the correct person, which I feel like the person with the answers is the one who also has the ability to move things forward, it seems like the person you would ask would be that same person. So as you're asking that person, they're kind of like, yeah, this is why that stagnated, and this is what could have gone better. And you just acting positively to it, bringing it forward, they're like, and there's a chance for you to move forward. I see them telling you there is a chance for you to move forward. This doesn't have to be a permanent loss. You might be able to recoup this in the future. You might be able to jump ahead into the future with this by getting this person's help, getting their perspective. It feels like they're a player in the sense of like a prime player. They can help you make decisions. They can help move things forward. They can afford you this win or lose. You got to talk to them, though. You got to get them talking. That's how, oddly enough, this is how you reclaim your power, because you're talking. You're showing interest. This person sees that interest. They like that you're saying, hey, that just stagnated. I didn't really like how that stagnated. Why do you think that happened? And what would you suggest I do differently? Because I'd really like to do that again. I'd like to have another shot at that. But I just need somebody to explain to me why they think it failed so that I don't fail again. I need somebody else's perspective to understand what I should do. This makes the king very happy. Don't get caught up in the gender, so male, female, whatever is going on there. They seem to be very happy with you for that because you're looking to make things better. They're going to tell you how they would do it, and they're also going to try to afford you the opportunity to do so. This is the kicker here. When you get to this, the lead is upside down. If you don't take the lead, nothing changes. You can get this far. If you don't take the lead, it's all for nothing. Because you're going to have to take a hold of the opportunity when it comes forward. And when it comes forward, it is going to be a lot of work. It's going to be challenging. It's going to take a lot of work. But you can finally recoup this missed opportunity. It will be a lot of work. This is what you feel is wrong. They're saying turn it around. But for you to turn it around, you will have to take the lead. Whatever this is, whatever the question was, you want to turn this around, you're going to have to take the lead. The King of Swords, whoever they may be, male, female, whatever's going on there, they're going to afford you the opportunity, but they're not going to force you to take it. They'll put it in front of you. It's almost like leaving, I don't know why I'm using this analogy. When people use, they call them popcorn balls where I'm from. I want to say it's caramel corn, and it's kind of rolled up into a ball. And they'll leave them out on the porch at Halloween, and they're just like, take what you want. It's up to you to go up on the porch and get them. They're not going to come out. They're not going to answer the door and give them to you. You have to come up, walk in the door, take one, and walk away. They're not going to bring it down the steps, walk it down the driveways to hand it to you. You have to come and get it. And that's basically what this person's saying. You want this, you're going to have to come and get it and keep it. And it's going to be more work. It's definitely going to be more work, so be sure you want it, because I feel that too. But they're saying if you want this to turn around, that's what you're feeling. That's why you're feeling something is wrong, because this situation is something you wanted and you weren't able to make it happen. Somebody else can make it happen for you. But even at this point, keep that in mind. You're going to have to do the work to keep it. You have to work to get it and keep it. This person will bring the opportunity forward to you, but just be sure you want it. Because if you don't want it and you just decide, you know what, I don't really want this, I'm going to let it go, then you kind of, I just feel like that's not the best thing for you, only because I don't know if you really want to go towards the king, get the king excited, and get the king to, help you get this opportunity if you're just going to say, no, thank you. Because if you decide later that you are ready for this, the king might not be so open to helping you. So I would say also with this reading, if you're not really sure you want to do this, maybe hold back. Don't approach the king just yet. Approach the king when you're sure you want to claim your own personal power, because it may be a one-shot deal. Because for you to recoup, for you to make good on this, you will have to take the lead. It will be a lot of work, but it will be worth it. You won't feel like something is wrong anymore. All right, I think we're done with that one. Where did I put that other stone? Oh. All right, let's go on to the fourth one. I just realized I was putting things all over the place. That's funny. Okay, what do we have for the fourth one? Fluorite. Fluorite seems to be a sharpening of the senses. Better focus, gaining focus. We got a lot. We got upside down, right side up. Okay. And they got, okay, so I'm going to put this way. The question for you is this repeating? Let's put it here. Now, sharpening your focus, getting clarity, getting focus. What do I want to say? Like buckling down and doing what you need to get done. That seems to help with this. This stone seems to help with that too, in my opinion. But it's very much sharpening your focus, looking at something clearly and getting motivated. I do believe this is a motivational stone, to tell you the truth, too. Now, when we're coming into this, you've got the Eight of Coins. The Eight of Coins with the Four of Swords reversed. Now, the Four of Swords reversed, when I'm looking at this card, it's kind of like you want to relax. You want to let something go. You feel like you need a break. But it's reversed, so it's like you're not getting that break. And the Eight of Coins is saying the reason you're not getting that break, or the reason you're not allowing that break, is because you feel like there's still more work to be done, and it's just so far that if you drop it now, it could fail, and you've done all this work. You don't want to lose it. There's so much here invested that you just feel like you can't give yourself a break. Now, is this repeating is coming into the, what does it say? Sadness and isolation reversed, and the awaiting results, right side up for you guys. Sadness and isolation, I feel like when I see that reversed, it's still not a pleasant card in my opinion, but I feel like it's somebody who's constantly trying to keep going so they don't think about what's going on. It's almost like if I don't think about it too much, it won't bother me that much, and I can just keep moving and it won't matter, and I'll get through this. And the awaiting results is telling me, like, it's kind of like the Eight of Coins repeating. Is this repeating? In other words, you're starting in a position where you feel like you're almost there. You don't want to give up. You can't really relax because you want to keep working because you don't want to lose this investment. So you just got to keep working, because if you let it go, you're going to miss out on the payday. And as it keeps going forward, you're still awaiting those results. You're still trying to keep busy. You're still wanting this. But they're saying, is this just a cycle where you just constantly tell yourself, I got to keep working, I got to keep trying, I got to keep going, and it just never relents? Because they're saying, you know what? Maybe it is time for you to step back. Maybe it's time for you to take a break. And I feel like a lot of you may be really nervous about that, because if you step back and you really take a look at what you're doing here and what you're a part of, maybe it's not something that you want anymore. Maybe you did want it at one point, but at this point it's so repetitive and it just keeps going in circles, and it's the same, always waiting for that result, waiting for that result. And I feel like there's going to be some of you that feel like you've been waiting for years and you're just like, I've put so much into this. I don't want to walk away or, stop before I get that payday. I've just put so much into it. I want to get out what I've put into it. At this point, I feel like somebody might be pulling the wool over your eyes. And this just might be a situation that until you stop and take a look at what's really happening or what's causing it to keep repeating, you're not going to get out of this cycle. To get out of this cycle, you're going to have to find out, why does it seem like it's always going on? Why does it always seem like I'm almost there, but I can never quite make it? I feel like I'm almost there, and right now I feel like I'm almost there. I just got to hold on a little longer. But then the future comes, and you're like, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. It seems like there's a lot of beautiful things here, but I can't seem to make it happen. Why is it not happening? Why am I still feeling like I'm awaiting results? They're saying it's time for you to step back. It's time for you to literally use the Four of Swords. Take a minute. Step back. Put down that sword. Stop fighting for this. Give it a minute. Hand it off to someone else, or just get it going on, life support for a couple days, couple weeks if you can. Think about what's really happening. Really reassess it. Sharpen your vision. Sharpen your thoughts. Really look at this a lot closer, because maybe this is just a situation that's destined to stay in this circle until you stop, look at it a little closer, and break the chain. That's what's wrong. I feel like that's what's wrong. It's a situation that there is no. It's almost like a circle. It's not almost like a circle. It's like an circle or an infinity sign. Just when you think you're coming to the end, you're coming around to another. You know what I mean? You can't see what I'm doing here. Okay. See, like with the infinity sign, you're coming back to the center, but you're going up around again. You're coming back to the center, going back around again, coming back to the center, and going back around again. Every time you think you're almost done, but you're just heading around the track again. They're saying that's what's wrong. Step back, look at what you're doing, look at it's constantly repeating, and ask yourself, do you just want to do this until your legs fall off, or do you want to find a way out of this? For some of you, it's definitely just cutting your losses and just saying, you know what, enough's enough, and letting go. For others of you, it's kind of like redirecting this energy, kind of like, all right, this is a circle, but I'm going to put a cut in this circle. It's now a string. It's now a string, and now we're coming to the end of it because I'm finished. That's what's wrong, though. It's just kind of like, and you never get out of it. You're feeling worn down. They're like saying you need a break. Give yourself a break. Things will be better. You can look at it a little clearer and get yourself out of this loop. Okay. That's the fluorite. All right, we got one more. Lapis Lazuli, which is a communication stone. And there's I'm just going to put these out. Oh, they're both upside down? No, we can put this. That feels like that. That makes more sense. This you have a chance. Okay, so we got flow and... Is that dedicated effort? I think it is. Yep, okay. So, let's try to get them in frame for you. So we got the Lapis Lazuli with the, there's that earth tone in it, which to me is very grounding. It's almost like whatever you're talking about, make sure you have it solidified in fact, things like that. Alright, so you got Tell It To Me Again here. When it's coming through with the Lapis Lazuli, it's actually making me feel pretty good about that. Because when we're coming in here, you got the Empress reversed, and we got the Shine reversed. Now, whoever you are, don't get caught up in the gender of the Empress, but this is a very beautiful card in my opinion. I love it in this deck. I think it's gorgeous. I really do. So much color, so much beauty. And when it's reversed here, is it the Empress or is there another one? I think it is the Empress. When she's reversed, it's like she's taking care of everybody else but herself. And again, for you, don't get caught up in the gender, just the card itself. This is a beautiful, beautiful, charismatic, caring person that's taking care of everybody but themselves when it's reversed. And the Shine reversed is saying this is dulling your light. You can't do nearly as much when you're working at lack. When you're giving, and not taking. Give and take should balance. I know people have like some adversity to the thought of taking, but you know what? When you give, you're supposed to take. That's the cycle. Like that's the other side of the circle. You give out, something comes back to you, you take that. You give something else, something comes back to you, you take that. That's how you keep the cycle going, because every time you get something, it gives you more you can give. And when you give that, something comes back, you take that, that gives you more to put together, and you can give that out now. That's the cycle. The cycle has to happen. So when I'm feeling this come into this, I feel like you're discounting yourself, or you're not honoring what you really want, not honoring yourself, not taking care of yourself enough. For some of you, I don't feel like it's going to be a lot. It could be the reverse, where you're very centered on what you want and you're negating other people. That's a very short, very select few of you. And quite frankly, I feel like if that's you, you know without a doubt what that is. So there's no judgment on it. So you know it's for you or not. So if you're upset hearing that, it's either not for you, or I don't know, maybe it should be upsetting. I don't know. As we keep going forward, I'm seeing rebuild, darkest fears, flow, and dedicated effort, and then you got the three of coins on its side. I do want to call it corn though, because there's a lot of vegetables going on here. As we're going forward, they're giving you the chance to change what you're doing here. No matter what side of the coin you're on, if you're giving without taking back, or if it's the reverse, if it is, then it is, you need to start communicating, is what they're saying. No matter what way this is imbalanced, no matter what way it is, you need to talk to the people you're dealing with. If you're over-helping somebody or you're not feeling like you're getting back, you need to talk about it. Tell it to me again. Like, in the sense of, like, maybe you need to get them to start talking to you, telling you about what they need. And then maybe you need to just share back with, like, some things that you would need as well. Because you have to start the balancing of the circle. If this is one of those situations where someone's always helping you, just to be fair, if that's the situation and you feel like they're constantly paying for this, they're constantly paying for that, they're bringing you here, they're bringing you there, they're always doing for you, and you're not feeling like you're giving to them at all. Have a conversation where you want to show them how much you appreciate this and you want to know what they need. You want to reestablish the balance here. Not just a one-time thing. This is not just a one-time thing. Rebuild is not a one-time thing. Like, this is reminiscent of the Tower card. You have to knock down the way things have been going and reconstitute a different way for things to work out. These two together with the darkest fears is telling me this will be an uncomfortable conversation. No matter what side of the fence you're on. If you're over-giving and not getting in return, people usually get used to that, unfortunately. And when you want to change things up and they're used to getting and they want to keep getting, for example, if you're making them dinner every night and giving them all the fixings and they don't have to do anything, including the dishes, they don't have to do any of that, and you're like, you know what, I can't keep doing this. Maybe I could keep making the dinners if you pick up the food and then do the dishes after. Or maybe we can cycle it through. We'll do 3 pieces. There'll be 3 of us. I'll either do the shopping. If I do the shopping, somebody else does the cooking, and somebody else does the dishes afterwards. Or if I, you know what I mean? If I do the cooking, you do the shopping, and then somebody else does the dishes. Or if I'm going to do the dishes that night, somebody else does the purchasing, and somebody else does the cooking. We need to reestablish this. Darkest Fears is telling me you're definitely going to have some pushback, no matter what side you're on. I feel like if it's a situation where you're on the other side of the fence and maybe you're taking and not giving, which is just a select few of you, I know that. But it's an honest thing, it happens to people. People might unload on you about how long this has been going on and how they've been feeling about it. It might come down like a ton of bricks, but it will reconstitute and it'll get things to go better in a better way. So this is definitely worth it. For the select few of you, and I feel like it won't be many of you, that are coming to this in that respect, like you're getting, and you don't feel like you're giving. Yeah, it could be rough. A ton of bricks could come down on you. But this is going to be great soul growth, and this is going to actually change this feeling to the sense of like this situation will get a lot better. You'll enjoy this situation a lot more. You'll feel more like you have purpose, like you have a reason for being here. You'll feel more engaged with the situation. You'll like it better. Which I feel may sound odd, but really, you'll like it better in the long run. They're saying this is worth doing. All it takes to start it is the communication, though. Now, this playing both fence thing, that's something. The way this is ending, they're saying, again, no matter what side of the fence you're on, the 3 of Coins is saying you're going to have to work to keep things the way they've been rebuilt. However they've been rebuilt, you're going to have to work to keep them that way. So it's up to you to work to keep it that way. If you don't, it could go back the way it was. That's just what they're saying. The work will be negated. It will be like you did nothing at all. It'll fall right back into the old pattern. Dedicated effort and flow is saying if you can put in the effort to make it go in this new direction, it will create its own flow. But it's going to be one of those things where it's kind of like you got to get used to it. It's kind of like working out, which I don't know if this is a good analogy for a lot of people, but hey, when you start working out, you want to start slow. This is kind of the dedicated effort. For example, I know people who like do that New Year's thing where all of a sudden we're going to be, master athletes and we're going to be jumping high walls and we're going to lose so much weight and we're going to get so fit and it's going to be ridiculous. Oh my God, we're going to have the world in our hand. 2 weeks go by and they're pretty much like, I can't do it anymore. I think I'm going to die. And they give up. That's not going to work. To really get it, the dedicated effort with the flow is saying, for example, we're going to use the exercise for an example. So to get this started, maybe the first week you show up at the gym and maybe you walk for 10 minutes, depending on your activity level. Maybe you walk for a half an hour. Then the second week, maybe you walk for 5 minutes, you run for 2 or 3, you walk for 5 minutes, you run for 2 or 3. You're slowly getting yourself up to it. You're slowly getting and like every week you just add a little more and you add a little more. After a while, it will be right. It will be where you want it to be. The dedicated effort is saying you got to start slow. You know what I mean? The first week, for example, you're just walking around the track, maybe for a half an hour. The next week, you walk for 5 minutes, you run for 2 or 3. You walk for 5 minutes, you run for 2 or 3 until that half hour is up. And every week you get it up and up until finally one of those weeks you're running the full half hour. Then you're like, you know what? I want to do a little bit more. I'm going to start running 35 minutes. And then, a couple weeks goes by and I think I'll run 45 minutes. Because you're feeling really spunky about it. Maybe 45 minutes was your goal. You finally hit it. Maybe an hour is your goal. So you're slowly inching it up until you get to that hour. When you're there, you're getting the results you want. You don't feel like you're dying. You're used to it. It's just something you do and you're happy. It works out. But it's going to be slow and steady wins the race here. Dedicated effort with the flow is like you're going to have to bring it forward slowly. You're going to have to get it going. You're going to have to get it going, keep on it, and you're going to have to get it going slowly. It's going to take a while, and I feel like it doesn't matter if it's fair or not. They're just saying if you want this to work out, it is on you to make it work. That would make this change. This would give you a better change. In the realm of fair and not fair, because I know this comes up every now and then, when somebody decides they want something to change, it's up to them to change it. You can't just assume, or you can't just expect somebody else to help you change something. It may be all the effort is on you, but if you want what's there, it's up to you to claim it. That's what they're saying. But this is how to make it happen. This is why you're feeling something's wrong, because you're lacking and it's not fair for the majority of you. I know some of you are on the other side of the fence, but for the majority of you, you're lacking. It's not fair. This is what you're going to have to do to pull out of it. This will make things better, not only for you, but for other people as well. And I think we're done. All right, I hope that helped. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, go ahead and shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.